and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to be looking at one of the 8 forms of the opinion essay. Now if you're not aware, the opinion essay has 8 forms. So you have, do you agree or disagree, what is your view, and so on. But then we also have the common one. There are actually 2 common tricky ones. The first one is the to what extent do you agree or disagree kind of opinion essay, and there's the do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. That's another form of the opinion essay. Today we are looking at to what extent do you agree or disagree, and we have an example from Cambridge Book 15 Test 2. Once again, my name is Adenike Babalola. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do that right now so that you don't miss out on any of these videos that I continue to upload on my channel. Now let's look at the question. Okay, so for the IELTS Writing Task 2, you find that many people struggle with this kind of question because people think that you have to stay on one side and just support that side. But the way it works in the IELTS Writing Task 2, especially this question that says to what extent do you agree or disagree, you somehow cannot just take one side, because the question says to what extent. Okay, now sincerely and truthfully, there are 4 ways that you can choose to answer this question. So you can choose to strongly agree. Okay, you can choose to strongly agree or partially agree. Okay, you can choose to strongly agree or partially agree. You can also choose to strongly disagree. Okay, strongly disagree or partially disagree. Okay, partially disagree. Now these are the 4 ways, that you can actually address this question. But based on examples I have seen, model answers that I have seen examiners write, and some some tests that were taken by test takers, and the feedback that examiners gave, you would not really be answering the question if you choose to strongly agree or disagree, because it means that you are just going to stay on one side of the question. But this type of opinion essay for the IELTS Writing Task 2 does not require you to stay on one side. Please, I see a lot of people write and share their essays. They want feedback, and then so people write feedback saying that you should only choose one side. This is not a do you agree or disagree question. This is a to what extent. And when it's talking about extent, it means that there's a degree of something. You shouldn't necessarily be 100% on a particular thing. So if you choose to strongly agree and only have maybe 2 points or 3 points to agree, you would not be fulfilling this question, and so your task response would not be what it should be. If it should be about 8.5, it might probably be a 7 or a 6.5. Okay, if you choose to strongly disagree also, and you have 2 or 3 points for this, you would not be fulfilling the question, the criteria of this question. So we are going to cancel out strongly disagree and strongly agree. That leaves us with partially agree and partially disagree. For the to what extent do you agree or disagree question, please make sure you are tilting in this direction or this direction. You are to partially agree or partially disagree. And I would not be saying this if I don't have evidence to prove it. You are not expected to take just one side. To answer this question, yes, you should have a side, you should have your own angle, but your writing would not be complete if you do not look at the other view. Okay? So in this case, when you are partially agreeing or partially disagreeing, you have a position. And for that position, make sure you have 2 points for your side, okay? Make sure you are keeping 2 points for your own position. But you should still take a look at the other view. It is not enough for you to just have your view and stay with it. You need to look at the other view as well. So let's do this. If you are choosing to partially agree, it means that you don't agree fully, okay? Let's say you agree a little in that sense. Or if it's partially disagree, it means say you disagree a little. So if it's partially agree, and this is saying you agree a little or you agree to an extent, it could be that you would have 2 points. Okay, you can have 2 points to disagree. Okay, if you are partially agreeing, it means that you agree just a bit, okay? You can choose to disagree with 2 points and then agree with 1 point. So you have a 2-to-1 ratio. You are disagreeing with 2 points and you are agreeing with 1 point, okay? Now, okay, it looks like you cannot see what I'm doing down there. Let me come this way. So I said for the partially agree, you disagree with 2 points and you agree with 1 point, because it says you agree to an extent, not fully. If it's partially disagree, it means you disagree a little. So here you can have 2 points to agree, okay, and 1 point to disagree. What you're doing here is you are answering the question. You have a side, because the question says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Many people just delete this part and focus on agreeing or disagreeing, and that's why you have 2 or 3 points for the same side. But for this type of question, you are required. I have seen it. I am not an examiner, so I wish I could speak with so much authority, but I have seen what examiners assess, and this question type requires you to take a stance. Have 2 points for your stance, but make sure you have 1 point for the other side. Look at what others are saying. Look at what others are thinking. Okay, so if you are partially agreeing, you would need 2 points to disagree and 1 point to agree. If you are partially disagreeing, you will need 2 points to agree and 1 point to disagree. So let's move on from theory to practical. There's a question here. Let's look at this question. It says, in the future, nobody will buy printed newspapers or books because they will be able to read everything they want online without paying. Okay, so the question is saying, in the future, let's say from next year, from 2022, we're in 2021, right? Yeah. So nobody will buy printed books and newspapers or books. Why? Because they will be able to read everything they want online without paying. Okay, so this is saying, as from 2030, for example, people would not be buying newspapers, they won't be buying books, they won't be buying these materials that we read in hard copy, because everything will be available online and you won't have to pay any money for it. Now, they are saying, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Don't delete this part. This to what extent is a major part of the question. So do not believe that you can just agree and write 2 or 3 points to agree, or you just disagree and write 2 or 3 points to disagree. No, you're going to take your side, yes, but you're going to look a little at the other side. So let's ask, I'm asking you, okay, so you tell me, do you agree with this statement that says, as from, let's say 2030, nobody, this word is a general word, nobody will buy books or papers or newspapers, dailies or something, because everything will be online? Do you fully agree with that? I personally don't agree. Okay, so I'm going to partially agree. I'm choosing to take this side. Okay, I'm choosing to, okay, no, now let's look at it closely. Do I want to partially agree? No, I want to partially disagree. I want to disagree a little. Okay, so I'm taking this side. I want to disagree a little. And as you know, I don't come here rehearsed. I come here raw, like we're doing it together. I don't like to come here and have everything figured out. I want you to see that I can make mistakes even in my thought process, because that's what happens when we write. We don't have it all figured out. Okay, so I want to partially disagree. So it means that I'm going to agree with 2 points. Yes, it's true that a lot of things are online. Yes, it is. Okay, my son is up, so let's see how we can do this. Yes, it is true that you can always read things online. It is true that technology has made things easy, but there will still be people who will be interested in hard copy. Okay, so if I'm going to come up with my points, what I have said is, okay, some people, or majority, the majority of newspapers and books would actually have their websites where I can go to read, and then you can have, you have social media. Okay, so you have websites where you can go to read, you have social media where you find everything, but then you still find people who will be interested in hard copy books. Okay, even talking about books, we have Audible, we have a lot of platforms where you can read books, but there are people who would always love their hard copy books. And so this is the exception to my agreeing. The reason I'm choosing to disagree a little is, in as much as I've said there will be websites where I can read, there will be social media where I can read, of course, without necessarily paying money. You only have to do your subscriptions and the rest of it. There will still be people who want physical books. And so this is why I disagree with this position. Okay, so I hope you get it. To what extent do you agree or disagree question? The way to have a band 8 and higher for task response is to partially agree or partially disagree. For this question, I chose to partially disagree. I chose to disagree a little. And by disagreeing a little, I just kept 1 point. But because I agree to a large extent, I'm using 2 points. So the way to see this kind of question is like saying 65% to 35%. So the 65% is my agreeing. I choose to agree 65%, but I disagree 35%. So if it's 65%, you know that 2 points would do justice. And if it's 35% for disagree, it is just 1 point you need. So I hope that this has helped you to a large extent. Would you like to try this question? Would you like to tell me what you struggle with when you do this type of question? Do you prefer to just strongly agree, or strongly disagree, or something like that? Or do you actually look at the possibility of you having a stance and then still considering the other view? As I always do, my free offer is here. If you happen to be any of the first 5 people that leave a comment on this video, I'm going to give you a free evaluation for your writing. So you could try out this question or any other question you like on the IELTS Writing Task 2, or maybe the IELTS Writing Task 1, maybe academic, a report or a letter or something like that. Whatever you do, once you happen to be one of the first 5 people that leave a comment on this video, I would, reach out to you and I would give you a free evaluation. I'll look at everything from your structure to your vocabulary to everything, and I'll give you a band score based on my experience with teaching IELTS. Okay, so that's it from me today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's how you know what we'll be doing next. Most likely in the next video, we're going to try to work on this and build it up, with the body paragraphs. All right. So yes, my name again is Adenike Babalola. Please check my description box for links to other videos and if you need to take the mock IELTS, yes, you can actually visit takeielts.net. You find the link to the website there in my description box. And if you need to improve on your English, you would also find the link in my description box. I hope you've learned, I hope I've helped you, and I hope that you feel better after watching this video. See you in the next one. Do take care. Bye-bye.